Yeah, we've had a few. We're here. We're queer. Welcome. I'm John Canopener.
And I am James Wang.
And together we are Rock Hard. And what we're doing now is a ranking, my friends. We're doing a ranking of all the Scream movies.
Hell yeah. We just finished filming Scream 6.
Yes, we did.
So if you want to see that, it'll be right up here.
And if you see that, you know that we've been drinking a little bit. So it's going to be a little fun.
A little disclaimer, too, before we get into this. What I want to say on our behalf. Because it's going to be kind of hard. Because, I keep saying this every video. Even though we have negative things to say about these movies, I still like the franchise as a whole.
Very well.
So even though we're going to rank these from worst to best, that's how we're doing this. So the first one we're going to say is going to be the worst one. And then to the best one. Even though we're going to do this ranking this way, I still want to make a disclaimer that even though we're doing this, I still love every single movie as it is as a whole.
Every one of these goddamn movies. But when you go on for 6 movies, there's going to be some stinkers, and there's going to be some good ones.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that right now.
Okay, so hopefully...
okay, so what's your worst one, my friend?
All right, so for the worst one, this one is going to be a little interesting. So for my number 6 spot for the worst movie is going to be Scream 4. And the reason why I put Scream 4 at number 6, it was a very poor attempt to revive the franchise in a new era of horror movies. So around this time, like the early 2000s and the early 2010s, you have a bunch of horror movies that kind of took off. You have, Final Destination, you have Paranormal Activity, you have the remake of Friday the 13th, you have a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. You have all these horror movies coming up again. And I feel like maybe Scream was trying to ride that high of these movies coming again, and maybe trying to revive the horror genre, because it was an OG of a slasher.
No one was interested.
No, and then I even wrote down. So I even wrote down, around this time you have Final Destination 5. It had a very sick twist ending. If you haven't seen that one, it was a very sick ending. You had a Cabin in the Woods. It was a little entertaining, even though it was kind of dumb ending. It was still somewhat entertaining, and then obviously Paranormal Activity was a major one around that time that, it was just very, again, so it was just that era of horror movies that came around that same time, and I guess Scream tried riding that same high as to revive a franchise. Obviously, it's been 11 years, but they just couldn't do it right. So that's why I put number 6.
I feels you.
So anyway, what was your number 6?
It is Scream 4 as well, my friend. All the shit he said, and plus I judge these more off of like one thing I judge them off of is like which one do I want to watch again? Like which one would I pop in again? Like first.
Yeah, that's definitely a taken into my rankings.
I feel like
too.
Scream 4 would be at the end of my list.
Like, would I watch these again?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I wouldn't watch.
And I think
Scream 4 again.
I don't even think it's Scream 4's fault. I just think it came like from what you said in our last video about where it could have gone if 4 would have taken off. Mm-hmm. Man, but if that would have taken off, like I feel it would have been different. But since it came out in 2011, it's right in the middle of all these. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
It's just kind of there, and they have to work with it. They have to work around it and everything.
Another thing, too, taking into account that the first one came out in 96, Scream 2 97, Scream 3 2000. 11 years later, Scream 4. And then 11 years later, Scream 5. Like, it's right in the fucking middle.
Yeah, so they give a decent break for the next one. But at the same time, I think Scream 4 is really fun, and I think it's a really cool movie. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think it's one of my favorites out of this whole thing. Because it tried to launch a new trilogy. It did not succeed in the box office, so they squashed it. We had to wait fucking gangs of years later until we got Scream 5. We got Scream 5, and now Scream 4 is kind of there because Scream 5 started doing its own thing. Mm-hmm. And I do like how in Scream 6, they bring back Kirby. So there's some stuff from Scream 4 that they're saying it's relevant still, I just feel like it's it's the stepchild. It's the redheaded stepchild of the Scream franchise. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
You're just kind of there. Like, I don't like you. I don't want to look at you, but I will. So next in line for me is Scream 5, my friend. I feel, just like I said before, I feel like this is one of those that I would put it in last, almost to last, because one Dewey dies.
Yeah.
I hate watching that. I hate that it's reality and we have to deal with it, but that's where it happens. I'm unforgiving with that. I also feel like Scream 5 did a great job of reviving the franchise, but at the same time missed a lot of elements of what made the franchise good in the first place. Mainly chase scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Very little chase scenes. There's none, really. I mean, there's that one in the doctor's office when she's in the snack bar area or whatever, or the break room kind of thing. But yeah, other than that, like, or when Sam's in the break room area. But other than that, like, it's a guy girl again. The motive is kind of weak. I mean, it makes sense because fandom these days is insane like that. Like, people, I wouldn't put it past people doing that to make a movie, you know, to make a story to make a movie, because they've gotten so, I can see that happening. It's kind of cool. It's just very generic for a Scream movie. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm gonna say. Besides Dewey dying, I feel like Scream 4 used the legacy characters a lot better and meshed new characters in with old characters a lot better. And I feel like this just kind of added Sydney in just to have Sydney, kill Dewey just to have him in there for a little bit, bring Gail in because she has to be there, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like the things don't make sense. Everybody's there because of Dewey. Pretty much. I mean, Gail's there because, you know, there's a murder, so she's got to be on that shit. But after that, Sydney comes because of Dewey. And it's just like, I don't even know if Sydney would come out of hiding for that.
Yeah,
you know?
Unless it was like something meaningful, which obviously Dewey died.
And when she does say that, like, there's a killer out there and I'm not going to sleep till he's in the ground. Mm-hmm. And I have kids. Yeah, I have kids and I'm not going to sleep till he's in the ground. And it's like, okay, so that was so important to you, but you're not going to come back in the next one? He's not even after you. I don't know. It's like you didn't even need Sydney there. Like, anyway, yeah, Scream 5 is one of the it's a good movie, but it's one of the ones that pisses me off the most because in hindsight again, after it's already done, you look back and you're like, yeah, it's not really Scream 1 material, and that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
you were trying to do Scream 1
You're
again.
trying to that's the whole point of like a reboot. They're trying to reboot the franchise, and you're trying to again try to keep the
Randy
same
and
elements.
Mindy, you have
you're trying to keep the same elements, but they just they couldn't meet themselves halfway. It was half-assed.
Yeah,
I feel like. Well, this is gonna be a little bit interesting. A little disclaimer too. We did not know each other's lists, so this is kind of like fresh.
And we're hammered, by the way.
Yes. So it's kind of interesting because my number 5 is also Scream 2022.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow.
So I put that again, another attempt to revive the franchise. But this time it was successful because they continue on the same storyline into Scream 6.
See, he's great. He wrote notes. I'm just going to fly.
But the reason why it's so low on the list is because they killed my boy Dewey. That's exactly why it's so fucking low.
I'm bitter, dude.
It's so, I'm saying,
I will never forgive that.
if I could make a separate list, it would be literally like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and then 4 at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Everything else is kind of good. Scream 4 is kind of dog shit to me. But yeah, Scream 5, again, was another attempt to revive the franchise. 11 years after Scream 4, because they had to fucking scrap everything because it fucking bombed the last time. But this time they did it right. But and then they used the legacy characters right again. Perfect amount of screen time for the new characters. They kind of mesh them together.
Scream 5?
Yeah. But again, just killing Dewey, again, it's just so bitter. And yeah, and it's the harsh reality that like, yo, he may not ever come back again. unless they somehow.
And you made him like a drunk, and you made him single.
Yeah.
You made him like a.
They made him. Yeah.
Like even when him and Gail were having that intense part where he's like, and I ran away in the night like a coward.
Yeah.
She's like, you are a lot of things, but you are
You're
not a coward.
Yeah.
And I'm
what
like,
saying.
God, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they.
And Dewey should know better. Shoot the motherfucker in the head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so low. Because it's a good movie, and I would watch that. I would watch it so many times, but I would probably just like fast forward Dewey's death scene. I just can't watch it. It's so sad. It's like it tugs at my heartstrings like so many goddamn times.
They did a good job of trying to make Scream relevant again, but they also missed a lot. You know, they missed a lot, but I can't really blame them because that's a big task to take. Also, you have studio heads on your ass.
Yeah.
You have people that want this, want that, want this, want that, and you have to make it work. So I don't really blame Radio Silence too much for it because they did a stellar job of doing it. But at the same time, it is rewatchability. It's probably on the bottom. It is on the bottom of
because
my
I
list.
just don't want to see Dewey dying. So my number 4 spot is going to be Scream 6.
Scream 6.
I put Scream 6. I put that it is probably the best in New York horror slasher movie of like this like current like movie generation. Like of all the movies that every horror movie that they tried placing in New York, I think Scream 6 definitely takes the cake on that because they used it so well. The only other movie I can think of at the moment right now, because I'm really drunk right now, is Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes My Hand. Like that one, like I've watched it a gang of times and I like it, but I also like it because it's goofy and it doesn't really take place that much in New York. It takes like there's a part where he's walking through Times Square and like, all that good shit, but it doesn't really take place that much.
Yeah, this you feel like it's in New York.
This one you actually like they have bodegas, they have like
in
Canada or some shit.
Yeah, in Toronto, I think.
Yeah, like somewhere in Canada.
So I think that's where they film a lot of New York shit that they can't afford to, because New York is expensive as fuck to film.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It's expensive as fuck.
And then because you have to stop traffic.
You have Toronto, and Toronto's like.
They have like a miniature New York.
I think it's called like Little New York or something.
Little New York,
Little
yeah.
LA or something. I don't know.
So, as I'm saying, so like it being in New York, it is kind of like one of the best out there. I also put how I like the idea of bringing all of the previous ghost faces into one movie. Like if this one was gonna to conclude everything, I wouldn't be as pissed.
Yeah.
Because it brings everything full circle. Again, that's like a pretty common theme when it comes to this entire Scream franchise, that they know a way of bringing everything full circle. They know how to reference old movies. They know how to reference things in the past to bring everything in full circle. And I feel like bringing back these old ghost faces and their masks and just even mentioning them, it just brings everything in full circle. But again, it was up there at first, but I had to put it back down because after rewatching it, it's like there's a lot of shit that does not make sense. And then again, 5 and 6 being almost neck and neck of. It was almost a tie. I almost put Scream 6 below and then Scream 5 above. But again, just killing Dewey, it put it lower. Yeah. But yeah, Scream 6 is like pretty much below there for me. That's pretty much I have it for Scream 6.
Well, my friend, we have the same once again. We did not plan this. We did not plan this at all. Scream 6, everything you said. And I think Scream 6 is a super fun fucking movie. I feel like I wouldn't have any problem watching this one again.
No.
You know what I mean? It's a good movie. It's fun for like all the things that we were missing in Scream 5, they did in Scream 6, but then they forgot to make a good impactful story.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that too. Yeah, so everything that I feel like Scream 5 was like a test movie. Just like Scream 4.
Well, they have to
start a new trilogy, so they want to test the waters again. And this one did right. And then there was a lot of things that people didn't like, and then they kind of brought it again to Scream 6. So chase scenes was absent.
Chase scenes are abundant in this one. Also, knowing that Sam can fuck people up, and knowing that she has that in her, and then she carries that with her through the whole movie, and that she at any time is just like, I'm ready. Love it. I like Detective Bailey. It's almost like the Richie situation, where I'm like, I really wish he wasn't a killer because He was entertaining as fuck. He's kind of comedic relief a little bit. Ethan and Quinn I fucking hated. That's one thing is like.
I think that's why it's so
you have
low
to
for me
love.
too.
You have to love new people that are in. What's her name? Akeda or whatever the fuck her name is.
Oh, Annika?
Annika.
Or whatever. Yeah, I don't remember her name either.
I mean, she was fine. She was okay. But yeah, once Ethan and Quinn were revealed,
I was like, even fucking like Mickey.
What about Mickey?
When he's like new, he's brought in. He's a new guy, and you still like him more.
Oh, I love Mickey.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
He has on the likability scale, he's fucking up there. Like,
yes.
But when it comes to Quinn and Bailey, I just didn't care, and that's what kind of sucks. Cause like they tried bringing new people, and there's like I just didn't genuinely care about these guys.
That's what sucks. Is Scream 6 is so entertaining. It's such a good fucking Scream movie because it's so different, and this Ghostface is brutal, and he is brutal.
He wielded a gun. He fucking killed innocent people. Not innocent.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know if they're innocent or not, but innocent bystanders. They're just
But
there.
it got me guessing so much in the beginning that when it comes down to the end and it's just so basic, I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, so that's where it really goes down for me is just the disappointment in the end for the most part. And yeah, once you get to Gail's apartment it becomes ridiculous. Even though there's some cool scenes, they let go of the good writing for awesome scenes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
they sacrificed the story for
There
a
you
good
go.
scene.
Sacrifice, that was a good, yeah.
They sacrificed the story.
Yeah.
I mean, but what
Okay.
can you do? It's all said and done.
It's done. Scream 3! Scream 3. We love this movie.
Yeah. Which may come as a surprise to some people because a lot of people fucking hated this movie.
I love this one.
I fucking like this movie too.
I think everything, okay, so like, just how Scream 6 was all kills and all suspense and all of this, I think Scream 3, since they had to sacrifice a lot of that stuff, came up with a really good story.
More story. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So in this case, they sacrificed the scenes for the story.
Is this yours too? Just go ahead and say it. We can talk about it together.
Yeah. So my number
Wow.
3 is Scream 3. That's what I'm saying. It's fucking crazy how you and I have the same list so far. Yeah. So my number 3 is Scream 3.
Scream 3, baby. Scream 3.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it together then.
Yeah,
I had a feeling it was going to be.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for me, it's the same thing where they sacrifice the scenes for a story because obviously it came around the time where Columbine was a big deal, so they had to sacrifice the kills, and then they couldn't have as much.
But they made it such a cooler story.
Yeah, and then the motive and everything, and then
Tied into all three.
Yes.
And make it make sense, and Roman's badass lines, and Roman doing it all on his own. Maybe. And just having to come up with this on the fly and still making it so meaningful and make sense. You know, we love Roman. Roman's one of our favorite killers.
Yeah. I was gonna say in my notes I put that Scream 3 is quote unquote the black sheep of the franchise because it's the one that everyone hates on the most.
Yes.
So I put that it's the black sheep of the franchise.
This is
but
usually
it's
people's last one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
sixth
So
one on the list.
it's fucking crazy that it's our number 3. We're putting it in Scream 3 is number 3.
Scream 3 is number 3.
Though it does have its moments. Like obviously the one thing I can come to mind first thing is like having the Maureen, the ghost mom, like having that
Yeah, that
whole
was
thing.
stupid.
Like that's pretty much the only thing. I can forgive everything else, but I just can't forgive that one thing. But aside from that, the story and even making Roman a solo Ghostface killer, the innovative way that they tried writing his story and making him the only Ghostface killer in the entire franchise history, it's kind of impressive.
And the voice changer.
And the
doing different
yeah.
voices.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And it's very cool.
It's a very ghost-like
and they should
thing.
keep doing that shit, but they don't.
It's a very Ghostface-like thing to do.
Yes.
You want to trick your people. So, that's what I'm saying. These things that people probably hate, I fucking like.
And he's making Stab 3. It's all in a studio, so it's
He's
meta.
making his own movie.
He's making his own fucking movie.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. Yeah, Scream 3. It's goofy. The knife throw at Dewey's head is retarded.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm saying,
There's some dumb shit.
Shit like that, I could forgive.
Yeah.
Also, Scream 3 has a pretty badass soundtrack. Obviously, with Creed's "What If."
What if?
That's why. That's why it's so up there, because it's fucking awesome.
Yes.
It's up there.
Pay attention, man. Scream 3 is like.
It
really does do a good job of tying in
the entire
everything.
trilogy.
Yeah.
It's if I'm saying, if Scream 3 was the wrap up, the true wrap up of the entire trilogy, I think that would have been a perfect ending to wrap everything up. That whole storyline, and then maybe your Scream 4 could have been a reboot, you know. But the 1, 2, and 3, a perfect ending. Like, why not a better way to end it in Hollywood with the brother, which a secret brother we didn't know the entire fucking time was there. Try to go to
focus
the mom.
it and tie it into Sydney's past,
Yes.
Maureen Prescott, all this kind of stuff. Like it makes, and Sydney's in hiding, and she ain't gonna come out, bitch, unless there's a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a reason. She comes out. Yeah, dude, it's good. In this one, she just shows up because Dewey died. In Scream 5.
And Scream 5.
I mean, yeah, Scream 5, she just shows up because she has to show up.
Yeah, it's like.
And then they just decide to team up and go take this on. Instead of calling the fucking cops, be like, hey, I think Ghostface is going to be at this fucking place.
Stu Walker's house. Like,
No, we're going to go kill him ourselves and get in the way again. Gail gets shot right away. All this kind of, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Scream 5 is definitely up there. Scream 3, I would watch Scream 3 more fucking times than Scream 5.
Yeah.
And 4. And
would too.
6.
I would too. That's why it's on the
That's
list.
why it's up there.
Very
Yep.
good, James. Let's see if we can go all the way.
Yeah, let's see.
What's your next one, buddy?
Oh, God. I'm kind of nervous right now. For my next one, I already kind of know. I'm not really going to say. My number 2 spot is Scream 2.
We're going all the way here, buddy.
Yeah.
We're going all the way. We're going all the way.
Yeah, so my number 2 spot is Scream 2. It was pretty easily noticeable that Scream 2 was going to be my number 2 spot, and then obviously we know what our number 1 is. Scream 2 had the most memorable scenes. Like, I could, just remember the entire movie in my head. The chase scenes were the best, I think, in the franchise. I think Scream 2 had the best chase scenes, in my opinion, at least. And I also put Mickey as the Ghostface killer made it better.
Mickey is the shit.
I think that's what it is too. So,
Yeah, dude. Since it's the same one, we'll talk about it together. Yeah, Mickey. I still say to this day, Mickey is a good mix of Billy and Stu.
yes.
He's psychotic, but he's also funny, and he's also quirky as shit. And he wants to get caught. That's his own thing.
Because
That's
he's
his
a
new
literal serial killer. Like, he
thing. But other than
kills
that,
people.
he's Billy and Stu across the board.
Yeah.
And I like Nancy Loomis because that's the most surprising fucking killer I've ever had revealed to me is Nancy, because that bitch is there, and it makes so much sense, and it was right there in front of us the whole time. That's such a clever fucking reveal.
I'm
She
saying,
was there all the time, and it makes sense.
The writing back in the day, it was insane because you never seen it before.
It's so fun. I had no idea. I picked Mickey even when I was a kid. I picked Mickey right away
Because he was like a red herring.
He's
he was
new
there.
and he's whatever, blah 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 blah, and he's in film class and shit.
But even if he wasn't, I'm like, damn. Even seeing Scream 2 for the first time for me too, I'm like, dude, like, he's pretty.
And then they have all that footage in the fucking
Yeah.
college thing, and then when you notice, Mickey has a camera on him all the time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I never noticed that until somebody said that shit like 2 years ago, and I was like, no shit, like that's fucking crazy. Yeah, the fact that they're all at college, Randy's in the fucking movie, even though he biffs it, we still get Randy. Gail is on top of her game.
I think she's like that's like the best version. Scream 2 and Scream 4 had like the best versions.
I'll give that with Scream 4. Scream 4 I think
had the
has
best version
Gail.
of Gale, but Scream 2 as well had a best version of Gale as well. That's what I'm saying, like just the chase scenes and then everything, and then Mickey. So everything
The
as
reveals
a
were great.
sequel, which is kind of ironic because I remember Randy saying in the movie that, by definition, they're inferior films. I'm like, well, obviously not this fucking movie because it's kind of good.
Yeah.
Not to the first one, but obviously to everything else, everything else beyond what you just mentioned earlier, it is way better. I would watch Scream 2 a dozen fucking times.
I love Scream 2.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I've seen it many times. Too much to count, probably. Since I was 10, Oh my god, I can't even count, dude. Like I've seen Scream 2. I'm not gonna say 1,000, but maybe 400 times.
Like you can remember every fucking scene, the entire like right now, like the entire movie's playing in my head right now.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go. The sound booth scene,
Sound booth.
fucking tight.
I think
as fuck.
I think that's where it started the intensity. Cause Scream 1 again had its moments, but Scream 2
when he's looking through the fucking walls and Gail's
and then
trying to run
this
away.
the sound booth scene, she's like fucking hiding behind, like
Yeah.
so quiet, dude. Like
It's creepy.
creepy. Yeah, it's like
And you see him and she doesn't. And then he's on the other side and then he stabs Dewey. It's all emotional.
yep.
It's fucking crazy. And then I would say, the scene with the cops when they
They're driving
when they crash.
and they crash and then they crawl
and
over.
crawl over Mickey.
Yep.
That's a fucking intense scene.
And yeah, you have Haley or Hallie going, what?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Her dumb thing.
Even the opening scene, I like that too, because it's in the movie theater.
Yes. Badass scene.
You have Mickey like,
Yeah. Yeah.
doing that shit.
Yeah.
It's like stabbing her.
And she goes, and fucking cries.
Yeah, Jada Pinkett Smith fucking dying so early in the movie. That's what I'm saying.
Awesome.
Scream 2 is it's awesome. Like, I kind of want to go watch it right now. Like
I don't think anybody was
awesome it is.
expecting Scream 2 to be that good either.
Yeah.
Because Scream is like, what are you gonna do in this one? You know, now they're in college. Okay, great. But it does make sense. That's why the first three are such a awesome trilogy. Like,
Yeah.
it's progression. You see high school, college.
And
Now
now they're
she's like a
adults.
fucking like a self-help fucking person or something.
And
like
yeah,
that.
they're
Like,
adults. So
don't kill
they're
yourself.
children, adolescents, and then they're adults.
Yeah.
So you kind of see that progression. Yeah, from 1 through 3.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And that's why the first Scream
Pretty
is
obvious.
it is our number one.
Scream, 1996.
You can't top it.
I think that's literally what I put in my fucking notes. That's literally what I put. I literally put Need I Say More as number 1. In my notes, I put Scream 1996. Need I Say More? It
Yeah,
is the first of the franchise. It is going to be the number 1. It's like a start. It started something. It's literally sparked. I think Scream for me was like a spark of like this like love for slashers for me too.
It was definitely like at the time horror was diving. It wasn't doing so well. So with Scream, a new slasher movie, to be this good, and a whodunit, like that's another thing about Scream.
Exactly.
It's like I love these movies because I'm trying to figure it out, just like
who
everybody
it
else is
is.
trying to figure
Because like we had people like be killers. We know they're killers. Like obviously Psycho and then fucking Friday the 13th and a Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween. Like, we know who's a killer, but to have a movie to where we don't know who the killer is and it's a whodunit situation and they're
Yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah, it's fun as fuck. And this was the first movie to start and to revive.
You're like, I think it's that bitch. I think it's that guy.
Yeah.
I think it's he kind of gave me a little wink there. I don't know. That guy is a little weird.
Exactly.
Like, that's the fun of these movies. I think that is the biggest thing about these movies that makes it keep coming back for more. Like every movie comes back and it comes back stronger and better. Not better, but it comes back. It tries to do something.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, not better.
Not
but
always better. Not always better. That's the wrong word. But like, they keep the same formula to where like it's a whodunit. So really, they could have the shittiest Scream movie ever, and I'd still watch it because half the fun is just trying to figure out who the fucking killer is. You sit there and you put it on your little detective glasses and you try to figure it out yourself.
Yep.
And yeah, we've been getting better progressively as they go. So I think that Scream 1, it means a lot because it's one of the first ones that I like actually fell in love with. Like Halloween is my ultimate one that I fell in love with. But like Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street's up there too, but Scream, dude, Scream set a new bar.
The fact that this is the first one in a long ass in that era where it's like we don't know who it is, it brings a whole new intensity. Like it's fucking intense.
And then it was like very edgy with like it matches the 90s. When you think of the 90s, you think of Scream.
Yes, exactly.
When you think of 90s, you think of Nirvana. You think of
Like
you know
that
what I mean?
grunge fucking, yeah.
Yeah, so when I think of the 90s, I think of that Blair Witch Project. That's another one. I think of
Mm-hmm.
90s. It's all like, it's all new, but it was also fun. And it also brought, like, obviously they saw success with it, so they're like, let's keep doing this. And it spawned a whole nother generation of whodunits. Because after that, it was fucking, I know what we did last summer. It was, what was that one? I think it was called Just Valentine. And then there was Urban Legends, and there was fucking, there's a gang of them. There's tons of them. Because they saw the hype. Even Halloween came back because of Scream.
Mm-hmm.
H2O came out because of that shit. So, like, it really gave the blood into the franchise that it needed to survive again, because horror was, especially slashers, were done at that time.
Yeah, because it was like overplayed. Because you had like a fucking million Friday the 13th.
And this one, dude,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I had no idea there was two killers. I've never seen that before. So when I was waiting for the reveal, and then Stu comes out and surprise.
That was another thing I had too, or I wanted to write down too, was that this was like again, we saw a whole thing of killers. You saw it from like their perspective, whatever, and then one. It was always one, and then this one was two.
Yeah.
The first time in this in the entire like horror slasher genre, it was always in the two. It was crazy. I remember watching it the first time too, and I was like, God damn, there's two. And I like how, like the whole like ghost face thing, because at first you thought, like, oh shit, it's like a supernatural thing, like it's a ghost guy, you know?
Yeah, the first time we're introduced to that cool costume,
Mm-hmm.
the fucking like deer cutting knife or whatever, the hunter knife,
Buck
that they have.
knife,
Yeah,
yeah.
buck knife. They have that shit, and it's just because it's always been like a kitchen knife or like a chainsaw
Machete or
something.
yeah.
So you get a new design, a new kind of killer,
And a badass
the-
fucking costume.
and the best opening ever.
Yes.
The best opening, and that's another thing too. In Scream 2, they kind of did it a little heartfelt, but like the first one, you feel for those parents.
Yeah. Seeing their fucking daughter just
She'll-
like rip.
Casey, baby, you know, she. You can just hear that in the background, and it's brutal as shit because they just came home and they didn't know anything. The house is on fire, the fucking window's broken, everything's fucked up in here, and they're looking for their daughter. She hears her on the other line, and I can still watch this movie, and I will still watch Scream 1 over any of these movies any day of the week
Yep, exactly.
because it makes me happy. And we are fucked up, if you haven't noticed.
And it's still crazy how you and I both have the exact same
That
list.
is crazy. I did not expect that
I
at all.
tried so hard. I was in my room like, all right, like, and then that's how I did it from worst to best. And like, when I watched this movie again, and that's exactly how I did my list, was when I watched this shit again, and then you just saw everything I just said when I watched it again. So obviously, I would watch Scream 1 a million fucking times over than everything else.
Yeah, I say first three are the funnest. Like,
Yeah,
just to
which is
figure
crazy
out
because
stuff and to
3, 2, 1 is our list.
and just to find stuff and just to investigate a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
they all intertwine. So it's just like, oh, this is cool. You can go back here because we even found that Sharon Stone thing.
Yeah,
Like maybe that Sharon Stone reference in the first one was actually a reference to Maureen Prescott never becoming
an actor.
a Sharon Stone.
Yeah,
Like a Julia Roberts, like anybody famous. Like, no, it didn't work out for her. She got fucked, and then she had to go start a new life. So, anyway. Well, that's our ranking, people. Thank you for watching this. We have had a lot of beers, and we've enjoyed... we've enjoyed all of this, every second of this, because our first franchise is a big milestone for us. And we have our ranking of everything that we love.
yeah.
And what do we love?
Scream 1.
We love them all. But Scream 1's the best. It goes 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4. And dude, that's what I was talking about earlier, before you guys were here. I was telling James that I was having trouble with 6 and 3.
Yeah.
Was that yours too?
Well, no. To be fair, to be fair, I did change it after watching Scream 6. I put it a little bit lower, but I also had Scream 3 a little higher as well. So I had Scream 3 up there, but I thought about it. I was like, I literally, as much as I love Scream 3 and as much as I think it's super underrated, I just couldn't put it over the first two.
Nah.
It'll be way
When
too
he said this was
controversial.
controversial, I was like, this motherfucker's gonna put 3 on the first
Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna do that.
No,
I was like,
it was originally going to be 1, 3, 2.
Ah.
I was gonna obviously Scream 1 is gonna be number 1, but I was gonna put Scream 3 as number 2, and I was just like, no, I can't. Like Scream 2 is fucking a little bit better than Scream 3.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to put 1, 2, 3, and then the rest. Obviously, I'm gonna fuck about the rest.
Scream 2 is an amped up version of Scream 1.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
And
it
Scream 3
definitely
takes a dive, but it has a good story.
and it would have been a nice conclusion to add the entire trilogy.
Scream 4 tried, and
But
didn't, because
failed.
nobody showed up to the fucking theater. That's why.
With the original plan that they had
Yeah.
for 4, 5, and 6, it would have been awesome. If you didn't know what I'm talking about, watch our Scream 6 video because I explain why it's good.
Well, that's our ranking, people. Thank you for joining us. This is Rock Hard. Out.